9. From God to Nothingness. The validation of society in the medieval era was provided by God, whose authoritative voice was held to be the Church, which, through the popes, bishops, and priests, instructed the people. It was the successful claim of the early emperors of the Holy Roman Empire that they were the authoritative voice of God, and the major conflict of the medieval centuries was with respect to the transmission of divine authority, whether by means of church or empire, to the nobility and the people. With the Renaissance, the claim of the Church was implicitly denied, as was that of the empire to a degree, in favour of kings in the practical realm and autarkic man in the realm of theory. The Reformation and Counter-Reformation both reasserted the claims of the Church in varying forms, but with the rise of the Enlightenment and then the age of pietistic withdrawal of Christians from the world, an essentially deistic idea of God was seen as the initiator of the universe and of authority, which now resided in essence with the people. Subsequently, the age of revolution and of humanistic sciences eliminated God entirely, so that man stood at the apex of the universe, with animals, plants, and inanimate matter under man. But, as we have seen, at the same time, modern man was denying meaning to the universe around him and reducing it to nothingness. Existential man stands alone, without essence, in a universe without essence, pattern, or meaning. Because all things are without meaning for modern man, he is past salvation, since salvation is from something into something, from sin into grace for the Christian. Where all the alternatives are nothing, no salvation is possible until meaning occurs. Thus, as modern man and his culture decline into a deeper loss of meaning, the alternative to salvation becomes therapy for the dying. Reef has said, quote, "Where family and nation once stood, or church and party, there will be hospital and theatre too, the normative institutions of the next culture. Religious man was born to be saved, psychological man is born to be pleased. The difference was established long ago when, quote, I believe in, quote, theory of the ascetic lost precedence to, quote, one feels the caveat of the therapeutic. And if the therapeutic is to win out, then surely the psychotherapist will be his secular spiritual guide." End quote. In a world of nothingness, however, the very idea of health becomes impossible. In a world without meaning, neither health nor sickness can be defined. Freud thus promised no healing, only a reconciliation with our condition, so that therapy is the acceptance of our condition. The modern temper is thus what Michael Novak calls, quote, the experience of nothingness, end quote. It is a denial of all meaning in favour of life by myth, life by recognition that meaning is impossible and that truth does not exist in a void. Descartes began with the autonomous mind of self as his solid core of reality. Novak can allow no reality, no meaning. Quote, I am not a self, never did possess a self, do not have a permanent and indestructible identity, and have no special need to mourn its absence. The self has no pure identity, substance, core of its own. It is constituted by activities in engagement with the world. There is no self over and apart from the world. There is only a self in the world, part of the world, in tension with the world, resistant to the world. It would be better, although after so many centuries our language scarcely would allow it, to drop the expression self entirely and to speak instead of, quote, a conscious world, end quote, or indeed, quote, a horizon, end quote. I am a conscious world, a horizon, a two-poled organism, a conscious, open-ended protein structure of a world. The world exists through my consciousness, and my consciousness through it. Not two, but one in act, end quote. When Novak speaks to an audience, he feels, quote, the ocean as myself, end quote. he finds that we are a we. Quote, when you attend to me, you make me exist for you. End quote. What then is the experience of nothingness? It is the recognition that all our ideas which order our lives and experiences are myths and can never be more than myths because existence has no meaning, goal, or end. In the place of Descartes' myth, I think, therefore I am, end quote, Novak declares that a new affirmation present in the growing subculture is simply, I feel. To feel is simply to respond to the stimuli of the world, and Novak writes, quote, the self is a recipient of stimuli in a darkened room, end quote. The result is a loss of all meaning. This places Novak in the position of being compelled, and to his credit is his honesty to face the issue. Hitler shared the same affirmation of nothingness as did Mussolini, quote, self-confessed nothingness, not merely of a literary sort, end quote. His answer to the similarity of beliefs is inadequate. Quote, Hitler forced men to distinguish between the experience of nothingness, which is human and valid, and nihilism, which draws from the experience corrupting, inhumane, and indefensible conclusions, end quote. Novak's starting point, nothingness, gives him no ground for distinguishing between his ideas and Hitler's. His quote-unquote humane ideas are borrowed from the heritage of Catholic faith. They are not the logical conclusions of the experience of nothingness. The experience of nothingness means the end of meaning and of judgment, the end of the ability to differentiate and to discriminate. Only feeling, sensation remains in a void. After the pattern of Tillich, Novak holds, quote, granted that I am empty, alone, without guides, direction, will, or obligations, how shall I live? In the nothingness, one has at least an opportunity to shape one's own identity, to create oneself. The courage to accept despair becomes the courage to be, end quote. The courage to be what? Nothing, simply to be. As we have seen, Sartre holds that it makes no difference whether one becomes a drunkard or a head of state. The drunkard is somewhat favoured as more existential in his being. Quote, the courage to be, end quote, in Tillich and Novak is simply the illogical insistence that continued existence after the experience of nothingness is somehow a virtue. But virtue in their world does not exist, and the whole of the existentialist quote-unquote courage is simply an ignoble retreat from the challenges of reality into the neutral and undemanding nature of nothingness. The champions of the experience of nothingness are at least more honest than most modern theologians in that they have pushed the denial of the triune God nearly to its logical epistemological conclusions. No God, no man, nothing. To abandon the triune God of Scripture and his infallible word is ultimately to abandon all things, to abandon meaning for nothingness. Modern man has retreated into nothingness in his flight from God. Even there, however, all things are unendurable, and modern man is haunted by dreams of terror, unreason, and destruction, because, having fled from God, he flees also from God's creation, which includes his own being. To flee from God to nothingness is to run headlong into judgment. Philosophy becomes pretension and evasion, and man's despair a facade for his willful sin.